Greetings and welcome to another episode of Catholicism and Coffee. I'm Stephen Gasinski.
I am Beth Kaczynski.
We talk about Catholicism, all things Catholic, Catholic practices, traditions, and enjoy some great brews. Today we're going to be talking about fasting and abstaining. So we're here in the season of Lent, and we hear all this talk about fasting and abstaining. Well, what does it mean? Why do we do it? So let's start with the basics.
Well, obviously we're not abstaining from coffee right now.
No.
Don't worry, it's not Ash Wednesday or Good Friday. We're allowed to have this.
So,
and neither of us gave up coffee for Lent.
No.
We're not allowed to.
No, because we'd actually be doing more harm than good. I'm pretty sure if I gave up coffee, the planet would be destroyed. So that would not bring the glory of God, unless I am the instrument to bring about the final judgment, which, oops. Oh well. I don't think I am. I have not had any revelations, so we're okay. We're all fine. We're all fine here. Anyway, so what is so special about Ash Wednesday and Good Friday? These come up a couple of times. They're very special in the season of Lent. Not only because they mostly bookend it, but what else is special about Ash Wednesday and Good Friday?
Well, here in the good old United States, these are our two fast days of the year, and every country differs a little bit with which days are their prescribed fast days. In the U.S., these are our only two. They're both during Lent, and on these days, we limit how much we eat. So we're allowed one full meal and two small meals that together cannot exceed the size of the regular meal.
Mm-hmm. And we're also abstaining.
We're also abstaining, which means we do not eat meat.
So people are probably asking, well, who all has to fast and abstain? Well, fortunately, the church actually has this written out for you. If you want to look this up later, please do. Code of Canon Law 1252. The individuals who have to abstain are 14 years old and up, and fasting is between ages 18 to 59. Now, if you're in the a little outside those ages, say you're a small child, I don't know why you're watching this show, but good for you. And if you're an older individual who is past the age of 59, but you're in reasonable health, it's still good practice to actually fast and abstain during the season of Lent. Now, in older times, it was actually practiced that every Friday you abstain from meat.
Yes, and I think every Friday of Lent was a fast day.
Yep, every Friday. I'm not sure about that one, but yes,
I thought I heard that once.
I cannot recall.
Yeah.
But if you're still practicing the fasting every Friday, even outside of the Lenten season, good for you. And for those who are in, it's not required, but it's good that you can still eat meat, but you can also offer up another form of penance.
Yes, which we are required to do some form of penance every Friday of the year.
Yep. So definitely partake of that. I need to do better about that.
Yeah, me too.
So these are some of the requirements that you would have, and you already explained what fasting is quite well, and abstaining. I went over those things. So we do this every Lent, and also during Lent, could we abstain from something else as well?
Yeah, so a lot of people, it's a practice to give something up for Lent or abstain from something. This could be TV, social media, sweets, coffee if you're crazier than us, or if you're not quite as attached as we are.
Yeah. I used to give up soda every Lent, but I don't drink much soda now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I did candy like 3 years in a row when I was younger.
There you go.
Yes, so it was hard when Valentine's Day fell during Lent. Or shortly before.
Yeah, so there were those, you have those options. There's some other stuff we should mention about fasting and abstaining. Oh, also, just for your information, there is a 1 hour fast before Holy Communion. Everyone who is partaking of the Eucharist does need to fast during that hour. Everyone who is receiving the Eucharist needs to to fast during that hour. Now, water is okay, medicine is okay, but yeah. And for the fasting during Lent, there are exceptions, such as
Yeah. If you've got health issues and you cannot fast, you're exempt. If you're pregnant or nursing, again, you're exempt from the fast. Got to keep that little one safe and healthy.
yeah, which are obvious medical issues,
Yes.
not outside the ordinary of just plain old simple laziness or ignorance or
Yes.
stupidity.
But many people outside of the prescribed ages are physically able to fast and abstain. If you're getting confirmed as a teenager yet waiting 4 years or so to start fasting, why do you really need that much? Especially since it's only 2 days a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense to me.
Yes, and I was abstaining from meat from the age of like 5, 6. My Catholic grade school never served meat on Fridays in Lent.
Yeah, some Catholic grade schools do. I don't know why. But yeah, I was abstaining for as long as I remember.
Yes. And these are just the United States rules about fasting and abstaining during Lent. Some old Catholic traditions, you would fast or abstain before every major feast, like Christmas, All Saints' Day,
Yeah.
and some places around the world still do that. But here in the United States, we keep our fasting and abstaining confined to Lent for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that brings up the question of why do we fast?
Well, we fast to kind of focus ourselves to a degree. That way we're not thinking about, oh, what am I going to eat? But you're thinking about, praying more and focusing on the preparation for Easter, which is the great feast of the church year.
Yes.
But you're preparing yourself. Lent is not only a penitential season, it also forces you to face your sins. Now that sounds pretty dire, but actually it's very important because you realize how unworthy we are to receive the grace that Jesus gives us through his death and resurrection. And this is an excellent exercise for us to really sink our teeth into the amount of grace that we are afforded through this.
Another thing that fasting or abstaining does is it reminds us we were not made for this world, because food, internet, TV, these are all worldly things that we are giving up.
Yeah, it's not, in the grand scheme of things, that important.
Yeah. And that also reminds me, it's like when we're fasting, we can't replace that with another form of comfort. So if you're giving up TV, don't go and spend more time on social media, or vice versa. If you're giving up soda, don't take up sweet tea with every meal.
I didn't do that, but it sounds like something I would try to do.
Yes.
But you could drink more water,
Yes.
or just as an example, or you could be spending more time in prayer.
Yes.
If you're, not spending 4 to 6 hours a day watching television, go take an hour for adoration.
Yeah. And then this applies to our fast days too. It's like when we're fasting and we're not just limiting how much we eat, we should also be mindful of what we're eating, because if you're having a full meal and eating, a seafood buffet or a deluxe lobster dinner, is that really that much of a sacrifice?
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you're eating cake for every meal, that's not the point of fasting. It's not an excuse to eat cake.
No. I'm not that big of a cake person anyway, so
Me
that works
neither.
out.
Well, have your cake and eat it too. In your case, it would probably be mock pecan pie.
That's what I make.
Well,
But anyway, all that aside, I hope you really get the point of this. This is to help us focus on preparing ourselves for the great feast of Easter. Now you could go crazy within reason for Easter, but before then, it's supposed to help us focus on all that Jesus has done for us, all that the ugliness of our own sin, but it's not meant for us to live there. That's why it's only 40 days. But we're focusing on how to do better.
yes, and it's interesting. Lent is a 40-day period. The season of Easter is 50 days.
It's to make up for all. It gives us an extra 10 days to handle the 40-day misery, probably. Mother Church has all that wisdom.
Yes.
In the meantime, anything else you want to add?
Well, just keep in mind, the church has these requirements for fasting and abstaining, but it's always good to do more. Now, some people will go to extremes of having only bread and water on fast days, or all during Lent, I've heard. That's not a requirement.
No.
If you do it, good on you.
I don't think I could do it.
No. I also heard a story of a guy who had nothing but beer, tea, coffee, and water during Lent.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
Well, speaking of Lent, we have our next devotional out. It's been out for a while now. It's available on Amazon, and it's for the season of Lent. Has a journal entry portion on Sundays, along with the weekly or daily reflections, prayers, Bible verses. So go check it out if you're still looking for something to do for Lent. This is a nice little penance. It gets you to pray more.
Absolutely.
And guess it's a fast because you have to take time to do it and give up time where you might be doing something else.
Exactly. Well, all these are good. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're wanting to give to a Catholic organization, how about you check out our friends at Sock Religious? They have some great products. So I don't know if that's that much of a sacrifice, but you can get some cool socks out of it, and you also are helping a good Catholic organization. In the meantime, be bold, be brave, be courageous, drink coffee or other caffeinated beverages. One of our friends who regularly watches this show enjoys Coca-Cola on a large scale. Wonder if he's going to give that up for Lent. I'll ask him.
Okay.
And then pray for me afterwards. Fortunately, he states away, but we'll see. God bless.